I'm gonna make some fresh man-made dirt to get dumped right there. What are you doing, buddy? You going back to go get some more? Let's go watch for just a second. Nope, he's gonna go fuel up. So, we happen to have a little bit of too much compost in here because I had forgotten I needed to tell a couple of things to happen. Hello, everybody. This is Frogman. Welcome back to Captain of Industry. Last time we did a little bit of work on, well, some of this stuff. And again, like I stated in last episode, we're going to be doing some back-to-back recording because, again, I'm going on vacation. So we're going to see what we can't do about getting some fun stuff done, at least a little bit. Some of these little things going. Why are you out of this? You should not be absolutely out of that at all. Let's put you up on a little higher thing here. So this I'm not going to keep full anymore because I do believe at this point the amount of sulfur that this could bring out of here should at least, for the most part, help us out. And again, as I stated, we're going to start working on upgrading things. So I think the first thing I want to do now is we're going to start counting the amount of things that we have. And I do kind of think we're probably going to work either on this or this first, either way, but we're going to build them in place. Now, this one is already designed and ready to go for the upgrade that it is required to do the next level of blast furnace. I'm going to use blast furnaces, or at least the next layer of blast furnace if we get this open, because the arc furnaces are not nearly as good as you think they are until you get to the next level of arc furnace. Arc furnaces are going to be required for us to be able to make, well, I don't want this. Arc furnaces are going to be required for us to make the parts that we're going to need fairly soon to be able to do the circuits or the electronics too, but we're not going to be working on those right now. Maybe if we get lucky towards the end of the day or for next episode, that's kind of what I want to do, is get some of these done. So we're going to be looking at upgrading all of these in place, which means I want this to sit still and not do anything for a little bit, because we're going to have to move some things. Namely, what we're going to have to move is this has to get emptied. We can't use the regular ore anymore because the regular ore is not what they want. They want processed ore, and they want processed ore. Well, I think what we're going to do first off, before we do anything, they want processed ore because it allows the new blast furnace, if we plunk this down, to get a lot more resources out of it. So right now we're taking, so like say if we're looking at copper, if we get the recipe out here, if we process it, we get 48, we take 48 crushed copper ore, mix it with a little bit of sand and coal, we get 48 molten copper and a bunch of slag and a whole lot of exhaust back out, which is why I'm not really going to be too worried about moving the exhaust from this system over to here. I want to kind of play with this one first. But what that does mean is I got to get all of this copper ore off the line. So what we're going to do is we're going to dump that. Well, we're not going to let them fill it anymore. It's not going to be allowed to fill anymore. This may take a little bit of time right now because I'm just going to essentially let that completely run out while we build the extension as to what needs to happen. So we're going to need to be able to keep feeding in the limestone. We're going to continue to feed in the copper scrap, the coal, but we're also now going to start feeding this thing sand. So I think I don't need to tell that one to bring stuff over. No, we should be good there. Amazing. Cool. So they should bring a bunch of sand over. That'll start getting populated on the belt on the bottom, which you're not connected anything out here on the end, so that's fine. Yeah. I kind of need this to just run a little bit. And we're sick again. Cholera. Low water supply. What? Oh. What stopped? Why you stop? Because you did the dumb. I did the dumb. I gotta remember to keep pushing that priority button. It's bad if you don't press the priority button. And it gets really terrible. This is one of those snowballs where if you screw up, you're gonna be glad you can just adopt people. And I'd rather flush water than the wastewater because, you know, we want to process that wastewater. It's usable for us. While we're at it, why don't you upgrade sidetrack Sorry for the sidetrack. Is that going to come all the way over there and all the way down? Beautiful. Nice. So that should dump that in at 200 per, well, 200 is the way that it goes. Good. We should be all right. This is one of those things, as I stated before, snowballs can get you really quick if you're not paying attention, and screwing up a single setting on a priority inlet splitter thingy is where it gets you. The really interesting thing now is because we're going to be feeding this amount of water in here, so 120 water every single time it does something. It's going to take 160 water, turn into 120, and then run it back into the system. The majority of the water they're using, as far as this goes, so that's 66 water, however often it takes for that to cycle, this is barely going to run now. This little system right here is barely going to run. It's only going to run to help top up our refinery. Of course, we like our people living next to a refineries. Wouldn't you like living next to a refinery? It's great. I'd love it. Anyhow, we're good. So let's go over here and take a look at this mess. I need to let that draw down so that it just gets used up, or I suppose I could probably just have something happen over here to move another one over. And then I'm contemplating just building I want to kind of leave this lane open. My blueprint has the grinder on the back here. I suppose what we do is we stick a grinder, crusher mark, whichever. Where are we? I need a crusher because I want that one. Because this is only capable of crushing 32 ore per minute, or however this goes. And when we crank these up, they're going to want 48. So the only way you can make that happen is with a crusher large. So we'll stick a crusher large probably right about there. It's going to get in the way of their traffic pattern. I don't really care. And then we'll just do this. So 200 belt in, 200 belt out. And then we're just going to take and this is when I'm going to start getting silly. I want one of those just right there for now. How about we straighten it out a little bit? Can I get the other port to make it look a little better? I don't want it right there, but I don't want a belt in the way. I really don't want a belt on the other end of it, but it doesn't really matter. How about we do that, and then I'm going to put a belt down again, just because I like making things look somewhat in line. Okay, so you're going to be copper ore build. You're going to be crush copper ore to copper stuff build. You're going to be this, and you can get emptied. Oh, they emptied it. Good job, guys. Cool. So copper ore crushed can go out here. You can now just be whatever. And yeah, unpause. And then this is going to excite these guys as soon as I tell them no. Yes. Keep full. What are you mad at? Export route. Oh, I'm sorry. No, import. Go. And then you, as soon as you burn out everything else in here, that will fill this line up with stuff that those can't use, and that's fine. We'll just wait for them to slowly work all this down. While we're at it, we can start with, I suppose I'll start with you. You upgrade, 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 upgrade. Not the pause. Upgrade, upgrade, upgrade. This button. There you go. Oh, that's right. I don't need to upgrade these. These are going to be the same. Wait. Hey, hang on a minute. Yeah, I guess I'm right. Copper. Yeah, no, they'll just suddenly be able to run max capacity once we get to the point where they can do things. We'll let them build all of their parts. Now, these casters, these metal casters, can handle the 24 that'll come out of here. These will handle the 24 that'll come out of here. And as soon as that thing gets up and emptied, I guess we can go ahead and do all of those. Let's just go ahead and upgrade those while we're at it and let them build parts. Boink, 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 boink. They do get a little expensive, but it will run a lot better. Make a lot more copper. Well, double the amount of copper once we get everything upgraded. Are we there yet? Essentially, I want them to wear out what's left of any amount of stuff that's in here. So like this one is completely empty, so we can go ahead and give it an upgrade. Not pause it. I gotta quit hitting the wrong button. That upgrade button. Go ahead. These are expensive. Let go. They require a lot of red stuff. But with that being done, now we can double, or at least not double, get all of the use out of the ores that we're currently playing with, because I can do this. That will produce 48 molten copper, which can then be split and dumped into the metal casters to create 24 impure copper that will then be put into the electrolyzer to make 24. So from the normal before, where we were doing 30, what is that, 30 into 24? So let's say, can I do that here? Like an 80%, so a 20% loss on that. We're now at 100%. So yeah. Cool. Well, I'm going to do the rest of those then. One at a time. Actually, I think we can do two at a time. We have enough. Alright, that'll be the last one. I suppose I could set the recipe on it as it goes. I can't do the recipe. It's just going to get rid of the one that it can't use. Boink. And then we set you to be what you need to be. And again, we're now getting as much as we can get out of our ores, at least for this moment in time, with the copper. That's going to also, like I say, use a little bit of sand, which is another reason why I said you don't really kind of want to use this for, well, for the concrete, because you're going to need sand. Again, we do have other ways of getting sand. I'm just not really worried about it. I guess the funny thing about it is, like I said, bury the beach. Here's the reason why you bury the beach. You can kind of see the shadow down here. This is all beach clear down to here. Probably even further out here. You can just barely see the sand underneath all of that dirt and rock and whatnot that we've been pouring in there. And the reason why I say that is originally this is where we saw the shoreline right there. There was just a little bit of sand. Now there's an awful lot of sand to dig out of that hole. Now, granted, I'm going to have to dig up a bunch of dirt that we put in there, but there's an awful lot of sand I can dig out of that hole, which is fine. We'll get to it eventually. All right, so that's part of the problem. That's part of our issues. We now have we've now doubled our copper output, so that's 24 times what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 192. So that is a 200 belt. That's a beautiful amount of copper that we should be able to use now. The problem is when it comes to these guys. I didn't have this particular system set up specifically for the ability to be able to do what we're doing. So what we've got to do here is I need to pause this thing, because I need to drain that tank and move it. Truck has no compatible sorting point for mixed cargo. Yeah, I know, you guys are fine. It'll be okay. You'll be all right. I've got it paused. Just chill. We're going to let everything kind of die off because we need to build these back up too. I think I probably am actually going to have to. Well, I'm not going to be upgrading these back two. That's the whole point. These back two right here, they're not going to get upgraded because, again, we can only produce enough to be able to maintain. Well, I mean, I can produce more, just that this crusher can only do 192. And if you take 192, 192, divide that by 48, it's 4. 4. So that's all we can do, or at least off of a single crusher. So if I need to do more, I have to, well, do more, which we'll do probably in a future episode once we get past this mid-game section. But I do want to get this thing ready to go. So I need that to move. I think I need all of them to move, don't I? Shoot. Yeah, I do need you to move. Get deleted. To be fair, I could move the coal down here now if I chose, but I'd have to delete all of this. We're going to let all this run out. How long have you not been working? What is this for? No idea. Huh, I have no clue. All right, so that's empty. That's empty. Dump this, please, somewhere. I don't care where, just dump it. Because I need to move the loose storage for the output for the actual iron ore, or the crushed iron ore that we're getting ready to do, is going to go in there. This is when you get to modifying things. I hope, you know what, while we're at it, upgrade this one so that I know it's got enough room. It should. They don't get any wider in the footprint, I don't think. They're still 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 tiles wide, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so we should be okay there. I was just concerned I was going to have to move that this balancer. As it is, I'm going to have to rejig all of the stuff. Okay, cool. That's what I was afraid of. You do me a huge favor. Get out of there, and let's finish building some of these things. I need that to come here to go straight forward into that. And then I need a loose storage. I think I can get this to work. If I put you... I need to be able to put in a limestone and another one of these, which is why this has got to go. Get out of there. Just like a little kid in the way all the time. Thank you. And then you... Can you just connect to that? No, you can't. So I'm going to have to do this. You into there. Okay. So you're going to be... Actually, I don't want these to be the small ones. Don't do that. Stop. As soon as we get this sorted, then we can start upgrading them. It's fine. Give me one of these. And give me one of these. Coal is going to get moved over slightly. Just a little bit. We should still have plenty of room to drive by it. So, boop. And then that piece can go too. Yeah, alright. So this is going to be iron, crushed iron. Nice. This is going to be a limestone, right? What is it? This, right, limestone. Hopefully they can get in here when I get done with this. We're going to leave enough room. Limestone, keep full. And then you are going to be scrap iron, copper scrap, iron, scrap, keep full. And then we're going to do priority in on that one, correct. Coal here. And I'm going to start, well, no, I'm not going to do that now. I was going to say I was going to start pulling coal from somewhere else, but no, we can do that from right in the same place we have for now. We're just going to dig it out of the ground and use that. And then once I rip all of these out, I might move that coal over here so that they don't have to truck it all the way down there. Not a huge problem, but it is kind of annoying. All right, so we need to lay some belts. Why can't you not just be pretty? Okay, so then the iron ore is going to go in. I'm going to have to move those, aren't I? Actually, no, it can go in any one of these. We just need to put the limestone in right there. So it's going to get, because this is flipped, it's going to get put on that side. So U-shape lift, flip, 1. Okay. Copy, copy, copy. Upgrade while you're at it. What are you waiting on? Go ahead, upgrade that one as well. And then limestone, I'm just going to do a U-shaped lift right here. We need 2? 2. Should be just 2. Should be all right with 2. There. You can have a regular U-shaped lift from here to there. U-shaped belt from here to there. Here to here. Here to here. Here to here. Here to here. There. And then you all down here are going to, from those down here, that's going to get deleted. Bang. Bang. And then we'll just clean that up as we go. I suppose, how empty up are we here? We are completely out of the white stuff because we're completely out of the one thing that we can use to make it, which is a problem. I might have screwed up myself here. Let's get a, before we do anything dumb, I may have to do a little bit of backtracking here. That's 120 of those. Perfect. Inputs where? I think they can still get in there if I'm very careful. Build that before you screw up. And we're going to be going down on maintenance if I'm not careful. Although I think I have plenty of stuff over here. Yeah, we're still good on that part. All right. So I need to take you, as for an instance right now, I have how many of these? 72. I'd like to at least come into there that much. 76. I'm going to sneak you there and into that. No, I just want to try to leave at least 3 tiles so that the trucks can drive in here and fill those up. Now that's going to be... We have a bunch of that. Good. Build. Build. I don't have any of that. That's fine. Build this. Build, 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 build. We're doing all right. We got plenty of stuff. What am I worried about? I have all the parts. There to there, to there to there, and there and there. Have all the parts. We're good. All right, let's get an import route on this. I think I have to grab it over here. Let's just grab the copy on you. Where is it? Where's this other one? Right here? I don't have an import route set up. That's lovely. I thought I had an import route set up. I do. Oops. I need to do this. And please get in there. I think they can get in there. Not 100%. Whoop. Unpause. Get back to work. And then you should be good to go to there. Fill us up back with coal, please. Good, they can get in there. I was hoping they could get in there. So what do we got left? We got 84 of those left. I suppose I can probably unpause that. And then they'll chew through what scrap iron we've got. Blow out 48 of those. I mean, I think I can probably, like, if I wanted to, I could lift this up and jump it over to the top of that crusher, but I think that'll work for now. As a temporary permanent solution for now, this should do the work. As long as they can keep that full. Cool. So what are you short? You are short a recipe. Please get to work, sir. And you don't have limestone. Why? Oh, that's right. I forgot. These are crooked. Roll X on... Cut that out. Roll C, put that right there instead. Build, go. So I probably... Yeah, these are mirrored. So it's going to be this side and then this side right there is where that one's going to go. Cool. All right, well, we'll let them build parts. Please stop eating the wildlife. Alrighty, that was a long enough wait at that point in time, but there we go. 4, well, blast furnace Mark 2s or blast furnace 2s plugged into 4 of the oxygen furnace 2s, plugged into 4 of the cooled caster 2s, producing, well, almost 100 of the steel per minute. So we should be able to finally catch up on some of the little problems. Once again, given the fact that we're running a bus-based system, everything is getting used continuously, so we had a little bit of fun. I did have to kind of shut things off for just a second over here so that I could at least make enough parts, but that's what I get for being impatient. So now what I get to do is I get to kick back, I get to run the little boat all over the map, or at least what's left of it, fill up my boxes, and then in the next episode we add, well, probably over, now that you guys have seen what this whole story is here, the number here is the problem, because we're going to be looking at a max of 36 across these guys. And what is it, 36? You know, it's a lot of pollution, so this one is going to probably get its own little system built up pretty much similarly right over here on the very end. It's not very hard to do, it's just we're going to connect all the pipes down here, and I'm going to go get a blueprint for it because I've already got one. So I guess at least now we have, well, we're getting everything we can get out of our ores for the moment. So we're taking an ore and turning it into a material, at least in these, or at least an ingot here. I believe here we're losing, yeah, we're losing half of it, but at least we're back. Well, we're taking this in half, but the point is as far as changing everything else, we're gaining it back. So the material is going in a single ore and coming out the single ore out here in the rest of the factory. So I think for now that's going to be plenty of boring footage of me trying to do a couple of at least time lapses or something while these things build, and you know, prattle along and do whatever. I am going to have to start seriously working on the next layer of happiness for our people, which is going to be getting these turned back on, and then we will probably start working on at least the medical facility, because these diseases that we continuously have are crippling and can cause, at least as we see here, a considerable amount of unhappiness to our people, and we can start cleaning that up slightly by giving them some medical equipment. And we have, I believe, everything I need to care about for the medical equipment, except for that thing, which is going to be making plastic, and well, we're going to need plastic and a bunch of other things for the next layer of these things, because I should now actually be able to set those recipes to see what they are. And yes, there we go. So we have a lot of work to do to get to the next layer of electronics. That shouldn't take too much more, although it's going to require an entirely different smelting facility and another production line. And it might be time to finally get rid of this, even though I continuously find things that need the iron. So I might just utilize the trade option for the iron in here, because that's actually a pretty good trade if you think about it. And, well, this is just in the way now. So, I guess, until then, I will see you all later. Thank you so much for watching. We're upgraded at least to level 2 smelting, and we won't be changing this out for a really, really, really long time. So, talk to you later.